Our many sovereign worlds thrived under the guidance of the trade order, and for centuries we enjoyed peace and prosperity. The ways of war had been long forgotten. Then the aliens came. Despite fleeing from their own destruction, they overran our meager defenses, enslaved our people, and plundered our worlds. Desperate and unable to mount a resistance on their own, many worlds ceded their authority, transforming the Order into the Traitor Emergency Coalition. United under a single banner, we finally stood a fighting chance. And our vast commercial fleet was slowly retooled into a shield against the alien advance. It seemed our fortunes were turning as we mounted a counter-offensive. Such hope was short-lived. The long-banished deviants, now calling themselves the Advent, returned more powerful and twisted than we could have imagined. Many undefended worlds fell to their corruption before we could redirect forces from the alien front. Caught between the Advent's revenge and the alien onslaught, we were forced to dig in. We built up mighty defenses to outlast our enemies, and eventually, we even sought peace. Now, after 30 years of constant warfare, our alliances are breaking down. The coalition is split between those who would withdraw and those who would lash out. Rebellion has even started to fracture the unity of the Advent. I'm sure if they still want to destroy us or one another. Meanwhile, the alien assault has become increasingly desperate. Most strangely, their outcasts may end up being our salvation. Especially if the warning is true.
What's up guys, Paul from 69Secondgaming here with our first video of our channel. For those of you who just saw like the beginning 3-4 minutes of the game, or of this video, it is Sins of the Solar Empire Rebellion. The game just came out like a week ago or so. I played a few rounds of it. This game does take a long time to play, so I mean, if you're a person with a lot of time and love 4X games, strategy games, I recommend you check this out. It's a direct expansion on Trinity Entrenchment and the original Sins of the Solar Empire. It's a standalone expansion available on Steam for 30 bucks, I think. You can pick it up. It's a cheap game. Fairly cheap game for, like, you know, a game released in 2012. So this game, in a nutshell, is a very in-depth space exploration, taking over colonies, destroying other races. You know, it's a very in-depth game. For those of you who have played Sins of the Solar Empire, Trinity Entrenchment, and this game does include a lot of, you know, a lot of warfare, a lot of research, and a lot of very just going along to figure out stuff. I've only played 2 of the 3 races, and I've played the Advent. No, I played the Visari and the Tech, the Traitor Emergency Coalition, which, as some of you may have saw in the beginning 3 minutes of this video. And so yeah, so I'm gonna play the 3rd and final race, which is the Advent. Which if you guys saw the giant, like, I guess, ship back there, that's their Titan. Titans are the new super ship, basically. It's a capital ship, but it has immense power. It's very slow. But it's very powerful. It can take out entire worlds by itself. It's very cool. So I'm excited to try all the capital ship, or all the Titans. And this time I'm playing the Advent Rebels, which, as you can see, the ship, this is their Titan back here. It looks like a Gundam. It looks pretty cool. I mean, I'm pretty excited to play this. So maps, as far as maps go, they're pretty large. You can choose the random huge, multi, or random huge single, which means multi-stars or multi solar systems, or single solar systems. And of course, since I'm playing a fairly long game, I would usually do multi solar systems because it's a lot better. I think it's more in depth. You can expand a lot more rather than a single solar system where it's a lot more, packed. Warfare is very regular and you don't have much time to expand. So, let's choose this. And the default is a 10-player game, which I do not like. I hate 10-player games. That's a lot of people. So I usually just bring this down to 4 or 5, depending on the situation. But I'll leave it at 4 this time. So this is the race selection screen. You can choose the tech, the Trader Emergency Coalition. You can pause the video to read this if you want. Basically, each race has been split into the Rebels and the Loyalists. And the Rebels are more, they're more warfare-based. They're a lot more cruel. While the Loyalists are more, defensive, and they just defend a lot more. So the Vasari are a lot, they primarily focus on cruelty. Basically, they're very cruel. They're very cruel race. They use the psychic warfare and just take out everyone. And the final race, which I'm gonna play through, is the Advent. The Advent use spiritual, psychic, and cybernetic technologies, as you can see right here. And of course, we're choosing the Advent Rebel because their ship looks a lot better. And basically, each I guess Rebel or Loyalist has their own skills. So this is very cool. Occasionally, here I'll just read them for you. Reanimation, allows a renewed unity. Basically, allows you to create a clone of the enemy ship for a short amount of time. So if you have a small fleet, you can just use that. Bam, you got a large fleet for a few seconds. So that's cool. Return to the Fallen. So whenever your ship falls or dies or blows up in space, there's a chance that it might be renewed back at your base, which is pretty cool because their ships are fairly expensive compared to the other two races. I'll talk about later in the game. Mass Communion lowers the cost of the Temple of Communion, which spreads your culture, which allows you to capture planets more easily. Your firepower is increased due to, I guess, morale or whatever. It's cool. Cleanse to Renew. Harness antimatter from newly captured planets. So basically, whenever you capture a planet, you can harness its antimatter and recharge your energy, which is called antimatter on your ships. And the second last one is focuses some of its power to help regenerate the protective. Basically, your shields recharge a lot faster, which is pretty cool. I like that. And the final thing is called the Erratica Prototype 1, which is a giant ass ship which can basically take down everything. It shoots lasers and shit, as you saw in the trailer in the beginning of the game. So let's get started here. So the Advent Rebel that's what I'm gonna play. Since I'm not that good at this game, I'm probably gonna create a easy random that's gonna be on my team, and they'll be random, so it's all good. And so yeah, let's get started here. So I mean, I want you guys to give this the highest rating you can. If you're watching this video, I mean, subscribe to my channel. I have 0 subscribers. Might as well. You have nothing to lose, right? So yeah, stay tuned for more episodes of this game. I'll probably be playing the entire game. If not, probably playing a big chunk of the game because this game is very long. So I mean, it is very in-depth, and the game is very fun if you actually play the entire game and eradicate all the planets. So let me take some time to explain the game a little bit. So basically, it's in space, as you can tell. You start with a planet, and you can get these guys to explore. So when you click the explore button, it uses that skill, and they explore by themselves. And these guys are the constructors, and of course you can pan the camera. It looks very good. Graphics are amazing. So yeah, I mean, if you're a graphically likable guy, I guess, I don't even know what that is, check this game out. It's very cool. And basically you have two things. You have capital ships, which are very powerful ships which can destroy many smaller ships at once. So for this playthrough, I'm probably going to choose the Radiance battleship. Of course, you can build more capital ships as the game progresses, so it's not a big deal whether you choose this one or this one in the beginning of the game. So I chose the Radiance battleship, which is a firepower battleship. And what I like to do is create 5 disciple vessels, which are basically your basic infantry in space. And for now, basically I'll explain to you the research menu. So you have 4 categories. This one is fleet logistics, which allows you to make more ships. It's basically your supply. And there's hostility, which is warfare. Security, which is defense. Harmony, which is civilian, your income, all that good stuff. And understanding, which is diplomacy. This harmony or security and understanding are the 2 new tech trees introduced to this game since Rebellion, and it's pretty cool. So to research them, you have to build these Temple of Hostility or Temple of Harmony, and these allow you to go up 1 tech in the research. So of course, I do like to be a very cruel bastard, so I'm going to choose the Temple of Hostility. And the voice acting in this game is not the greatest, but it's a strategy game, so what can you expect in this in voice acting? Unless it's like some blockbuster strategy game, you can't really expect a lot. So the Radiance battleship just got completed. As you can see, this ship is a lot bigger than these 2 right here, which are your basic infantry. And it does look very good. I mean, that looks like it can fit a bunch of people, right? I mean, there's like balconies over there. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty good game. So basically these planets all have some sort of neutral hostility on them, so you have to take them out before you can capture it, but that's not a big deal because it's not that hard to capture stuff. So as you can see, we are researching we are building the Temple of Hostility, which allows us to create our Tech 1 researches. So basically you got the refined laser cannons, which increase the attack. You got basically shield projection, which allows you to increase the shields of the ship. And you got substance. Substance is more of physical properties of the ship. One of them, I think you can change the actual physical property of the ship, which is pretty cool. And of course, all these researchers' names have some pretty cool scientific names, like refined frameworks, and it goes into elegant hull design, and then it goes to supreme architecture. So I really like to focus on the damage aspect of the game more than defense. Defense comes a little bit later for me. So let's research level 2 for refined laser cannons, which does increase it by 10%. Not a lot, but it's still something. So let's start heading towards this planet to go capture it. And to capture a planet, you would require a missionary vessel, or if you guys have played Civilization, any of the Civilization games, these are like the settlers. You have to go on a planet, capture it. And so yeah, that's about it for the beginning of the game. It does get a lot more complex later on. Like there's diplomacy. This is diplomacy, and you can see you can look at your rating with them. You can just check all your good stuff. You can make pacts with them. It's pretty cool. And this menu is new to Rebellion. It shows basically what the opinion of other players are on you. So for example, my ally is 10 out of 20, so it's peaceful. And the other enemies are negative 1.7, negative 1.02. So there's reasons for them. As you can see, it goes down by 0.7 because of racial inclination, which because we're different races, they don't like us that much. And faction relations, which means we're not friends with them. So yeah, it makes sense. And yeah, so enough talking. Let's get started in the game. So this vessel is complete. The AI in this game is pretty good because they do target the settler ships. So it's better to save them until you capture the entire planet, or until you kill everyone on the planet, which doesn't take very long, but it does require some micromanagement, but that's okay. So right now this is the Temple of Harmony, which allows civilian research, which is like the opposite of Temple of Hostility, which allows warfare research. Alright, so this is a normal space battle. This is a skirmish. It's not a full-out space battle. Full-out space battles are a lot more epic than this. You have like a couple thousands of ships and you're just battling it out, dueling it out. And another cool thing is, from planet to planet, you warp drive. You don't like just move very slowly, you warp. It's pretty cool. So let's get everyone to target fire that ship. And yeah, so they're battling right there. And you have each capital ship has skills. So what does animosity do? Alright, research energy absorption. I think it absorbs the damage taken by other ships. So as you can see, this ship has a lot more weapons because it's firing at 2 targets at once. And might as well watch this. I mean, it looks pretty cool. So disable that so all this shit is gone. And look at this. the ship have any shields? Oh, you can't.